Hey everybody, great to have you back here in the fish tank for some more Minion Masters tournament action. Now these are going to be the last tournaments that we're going to be seeing for Minion Masters on the version, let's just call it version 1, because of course Minion Masters 2.0 is launching very, very soon. December the 12th, the 2.0 prologue is going to be starting, so that's going to be all Xbox and Steam players going over to the new version of the game. Now that's quite interesting when it comes to tournaments, because we should be able to have proper cross-platform play. That means potentially, now on paper this seems like it should work, but we'll have to try it out. But it seems like we should be able to have PC and Xbox players in the same tournament. Now, of course, there's an argument about is that fair and do we want to do that? But there is the possibility with 2.0, we will be able to have both of the platforms and then eventually mobile when it's launched sharing the same party, so you can play against people of the other platforms, and of course you can pre-made, for example, with somebody on another platform as well. So that's really exciting to look forward to for 2.0, so keep your eyes open for that. As always, we're going to have tournament action here. We're going to have the Knights Duel that are going to be continuing. My Fishbowl Brawls are going to be continuing, so keep an eye out for those. But that's what's coming in the future. Let's have a look at what's coming in today. So this is going to be my 1v1 Fishbowl Brawl. We're at the semi-final stage. Today we're going to have SeT against FiCUs. Now, if you've been following any of the Knights Duels, you'll be pretty familiar with both of these players. So very, very top-level players, and be interesting to see how they do. Now, they did play earlier in the event, in the Swiss part of the event, and FiCUs was able to get a 2-1 victory during that. So earlier in the event it was best of 3. Now we're going to be best of 5 with conquest rules. That means if somebody plays and wins with a master, they can no longer play that master. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at the bans. Now, interestingly, because they have played against each other, that gives them some good information with regards to thinking about what they should ban. So here are the bans. As always, the players can ban 1 master and 3 cards, prevents their opponent from playing those, and their opponents have the same power back to them. So we can see both players have banned APEP. APEP has really come back strong in the meta recently. Rapid Response Reserves still being banned, still being very heavily played despite its mana nerf, going up to 3 mana in the last patch. And we can also see SeT has banned Zip Zapinator and Cleaver. Remember, Cleaver did recently receive that HP nerf, but still a force to be reckoned with. Cage Prowler has received quite a lot of nerfs recently, but still very heavily played in solos, and a concern enough for FiCUs to ban it here. And interestingly, we see a Rammer ban from FiCUs. Now, Rammer's not really a particularly meta ban. We don't really see super aggro decks in tournament play, but FiCUs has decided to ban Rammer, and I wonder if that's because of something that happened in the match when they played each other previously. Okay, so that's a little bit of admin out of the way. That's the bans out of the way. Let's get into the action. Just a reminder, we are at the semi-final stage, so we've got SeT against FiCUs here. In the other semi-final, we've got Dark Crow against Aristocrat. But let's concentrate on today's match, SeT versus FiCUs. Here we go with game number 1. SeT playing Valorian, FiCUs playing Diona. Right, let's get our dual decks up. Hopefully that's all present and correct. Okay, so looks like probably... Okay, no, I was going to say maybe a Korgoth deck, but no. FiCUs appears to be playing an Empyrean deck. We'll see if there's an an Ardera in there. I played some solos recently, and Ardera is very, very strong. SeT seemed to misplay the split on the Cowardly Imps there. No Ardera yet. Interesting Black Hole from SeT. Not a card we see too much, especially in solos. But a lot of cool things you can do with it. Right, the hill coming onto the damaged units at the top. Now, I think the Woodsmen are quite underestimated as a unit. They are very, very powerful, especially when raged. Very, very strong. Kind of like a poor man's Cleaver. Right, FiCUs using the Taunt Trap, trying to bring them down to get involved with the Shield God of... the Brother of the Burning Fist, trying to help out with the defense. He wasn't interested. Ficus taking quite a lot of face damage here. One of those woodsmen on face. The other one just wailing away on the Legionnaires. Nice black hole. Denies the flyby. That's a huge... a huge smite at the top. Didn't seem the most valuable, though. Just cowardly imps, I think. Right, again, here comes a big push. And it's nice to see. Looks like SeT's playing the adventuring party, which is something we don't see too often. Healer just survives. Of course, Valorian's going to be healing with his perk 2. So that healer's going to start getting healthier and healthier. The AoE, though, from that Brother of the Burning Fist is massive. Healer just goes down, but Brother of the Burning Fist is down. Ficus is taking a lot of HP damage here. XP's the same, but I don't think he can hold on here. These woodsmen, as I say, hit super hard. And this is going to be game 1, from the looks of it, to SeT. Semi-final is underway. SeT takes a 1-0 lead. Okay, here we go with game 2. SeT playing Volko. Ficus this time playing Valorian.
Good choice. Let's go crack some skulls.
Right, Cage Prowler. We know how strong that can be. Only banned by one of the players today. Hey, it looks like SeT's playing the same deck, just with a different master, which of course is well within the rules. Conquest rules just mean that if you've won with a master, you can't play that master again, but of course you can play the same deck with a different master. That is okay. Right, it's going to take some damage at the top there. Health, as always, is a resource, but needs to be managed appropriately. Newer players are always very scared of taking face damage, but you don't need to be. It's a resource, use it. Just don't run out of it. Okay, ATG drone available for Ficus, which could be really useful against these big, heavy melee pushes. Hey, Brother the Burning Fist drops the Holy Fire, will heal itself, gets some good value. Needs to be careful with the healer here. Doesn't want the healer to take too much damage. Not sure he was aware that assassin was there. I definitely weren't. Wasn't. Excuse my England. Right, so a big push coming down the bottom from SeT. Picking up Rage from the bridge. We've seen a few nerfs to Volko recently, but still a pretty decent force to be reckoned with. It's going to take some damage here. Needs to be careful with the ATG drone, because of course Volko can't hit air, so that needs to be managed appropriately. So his Crystal Archers, for example, are going to be very, very useful. Very, very important for him to keep alive and for Ficus to kill. Again, the ATG drone is going to be a problem. What does he have to deal with that? Currently, basically nothing. This is a problem. He's having to DPS it down with the healer, which is not going to be very efficient. I think he's going to die to this ATG drone. Okay, it's going to be one game all. And there we see the real weakness when it comes to Volko and air units. Right, game 3. SeT Stormbringer, Ficus the owner.
My aim is shockingly good.
Right, 1-1, best of 5. I think SeT kind of made a mistake in the previous game. We just think about the ATG drone. He had his Crystal Archers available to defend it, but then he grabbed the bridge with the Blood Imps, which aggroed the ATG drone back away, and then the Crystal Archers got removed and there was nothing left. Net Blaster we don't see too often. And it gets shut down. Trap, really nice to support that. I'm gonna take a bit of damage here from the the aimbot or the drone walker. It looks like. So an early XP lead for Ficus. Fought back from 1-0 down. Now's looking to see if he can take the lead here in this best of 5. These Scrats though are doing a lot of damage. Now the trap's great at DPSing down these. Single shots them real quick. But Ficus did take a decent amount of damage. He is the owner, so healing is potential from Ruffles. That bear trap locking down the buffed Tranquil Monkey. Is it going to get to face? It does, but barely does anything. Again, the trap support's really nice with the ranged DPS. Right, Net Blaster's going to hit something. It needs to kill the drone walker, I think. He'd call it an aimbot, but I think it's a drone walker. There's no marksmanship on it. No shield. No tech, really, so... Still an XP lead for Ficus here. Doing a good job controlling this. Looks like some mana being burnt from Ficus as well. You know, burning mana is not the end of the world, but you really want to avoid it if possible. And there was no real reason for him there. He had small units he could just play in the pocket. Not really likely to get punished. Again, that Tranquil Monkey straight into the bear trap. Just holds it in place. DPS just shreds it. Okay, so there we see Ruffles going for a bridge grab at the bottom. The bridge was already red, but it does get shut down. And the heal was denied. These matches with Stormbringer can sometimes change as soon as Stormbringer gets to perk 3. That constant ping-in, double quick, can be really problematic to deal with. But let's see if that happens, because Ficus does have a good XP lead at the moment. He's in a strong spot here. The Scrats doing what they just need to do, trying to overwhelm, and doing so nicely. Right, perk 3 now. That's the second trap available for Ficus. He's been using them nicely. Is that going to push him even further ahead? 40 XP ahead. That's a great big lead. And again, that trap, really good. It's going to get face damage as well. Removes the potentially annoying Net Blaster. Now, the Net Blaster can be really awkward to play against, but the traps, he shut that down either with the crossbow trap to DPS it down, or the taunt trap, just to keep it away from his valuable units. SeT really needs to start putting a lot of pressure on the bridges now, or he's just gonna succumb to Ficus's Mana Frenzy. And again, the Tranquil in the bear trap every single time. Just kind of got a little bit unlucky, I think, with that. I don't think that's something that he could particularly play around with. If it's a rammer or something you're sending into a bear trap, if you pay attention, you can avoid it. But slow meandering units, you don't know when they're going to get there. Shows you how strong those bear traps can be. Little extra defense. Yeah, this feels like this is definitely a Ficus game. SeT is not really catching up on XP at all. Ficus maybe even getting a little further ahead. He's going to take a little while to deal with this, but he's got such a good XP lead. He doesn't need to force the issue too much here. Just needs to clear this up, grab one bridge, and then that'll give him a real good platform to push on and close this game out. Right, Mana Frenzy coming in 5 XP, 4 XP. Just a few seconds away from Ficus here. Grenadier getting some good value there at the bottom, but there we go. Mana Frenzy now for Ficus. And he should just overrun SeT here. One bridge is red at the bottom, second bridge being contested at the top. Ficus doesn't want to be too passive though, because We're only 20 XP away from SeT, and that, if he grabs both bridges for a small period of time, he can suddenly get back into this, and maybe SeT can turn this around. I'm not sure. These scrats are being an absolute nightmare to get through. The Grenadier is going to start shutting it down. Spica should be able to close this out. It's got double drone walkers at the top. That's going to be very, very difficult for SeT to push into, and this should just be a case where eventually the Mana Frenzy bonus is going to become too much. But we still have SeT having the bottom bridge. Taking a lot of face damage though from these ranged units at the top. I don't think that's going to be enough to shut the game down there. And SeT's only 9 XP away, doing a great fight here. Because, as I said, maybe being a little bit too passive. But he should really eventually overcome. And looks like FiCUs is going to take this. FiCUs goes into a 2-game-to-1 lead in this best of 5. Okay, game 4, FiCUs at match point. SeT needs to take this to force a decider. Ratbo against Morelia. Hey, he's gonna spawn first. Right, Stint at the top is gonna get shut down by the Tantrum Throwers. Bounty Sniper is up. Pincer shuts it down. He tries to prevent the Pincer with the Black Hole, but he was nowhere near close enough to that. And Pincer is such a fast spell. I don't think the Black Hole is going to be able to shut that down. That's frustrating for FiCUs, because of course, Bounty Sniper is one of those cards, if it's unanswered, can be hugely powerful. If your opponent doesn't have a way to remove it, it can be very, very strong. But if your opponent does have a way to remove it, like the Pincer, and of course, the Pincer does do true damage, so that means that even if the shield is available for the Bounty Sniper, it will get shut down. But what FiCUs needs to do is pay attention to see if SeT uses the Pincer of Dread on something else. And of course, that then opens a window for the Bounty Sniper. Let's see. So there we see, Pincer used. Bounty Sniper immediately spawned. A little bit far forward for my liking, though. Loses the shield for no real reason, and it's... I mean, he needs to take these opportunities of getting value out of the Bounty Sniper when he can. Looks like, and then unfortunately there the Bounty Sniper dies, and I feel like that was just a mistake from FiCUs. Played it way too far forward, and that could be punishing. Right, skeletons from the bottom. Remember, you get 3 of them from the spellbook now. Grabbing the bridge. Perk 2 for SeT. Dakka's available. Goes for the Dakka on the Infray, but it gets blocked. Either purposely or just accidentally there. Fortunately from the Stint being played. But that's something that both players need to be aware of. Right, again, Bounty Sniper. Why is it so far forward? I hate this. In randoms, when my teammate plays it far forward, I hate that. Unnecessary. And again, FiCUs trying to use the Black Hole to make something happen, but again, doesn't really look like it's going to get any value out of that. Decent XP lead for SeT here. Remember, he needs to take this to force a decider in this semi-final. Best of 5. Right, Bounty Sniper in the pocket. Can we get some value from it here? Looks like it. Dakka could be used to remove it if these scrats die, but FiCUs needs to be aware of that and make sure that that's not something that SeT can make happen. Okay, he goes for the Dakka. I don't know if the Dakka was going to be enough to kill it. It was so low. There's only 2 units that were from it. Might have been enough. The Black Hole did prevent it. But again, the Black Hole prevents it, but then the Pincer just shuts it down anyway. It's not a great interaction, however it works out for FiCUs. Right, perk 3 coming towards SeT. Wall's going to be nice to try to keep the Bounty Sniper alive. It is out of the curse area at the moment, so it's not going to lose its shield. Shield doesn't change too much, though, in this situation. If SeT had, like, a fireball or something to remove it, it could be problematic. the shield, but here, not so much. Right, 2 bounty snipers up. They're both going to get shut down here. So that went from a situation where ficus had 2 bounty snipers, it was looking like maybe they could start farming, and then suddenly there's none of them. That's a great Daka, though. ficus needed to be more aware, needed to react quicker to shut that down. He didn't, and that could be punishing. Right. ficus, of course, is going to have the dragon. Here it comes. Perk 3 Nirvir, one-time dragon. Can it change things? He has played it very defensively, so he's going to hemorrhage a little bit of XP for a while, which is problematic since he's already behind. Fergus doing some decent face damage. But let's see how SeT can deal with this. He would love to get a huge Daka on the dragon. Again, goes for the black hole, but I feel like there's just no way that you're going to just do that quickly enough. Unless you can preemptively guess when he's going to do it, and you just happen to get lucky. It just feels like a really low opportune, very low chance of it actually working out. Right, Daka's coming. Oh no. Okay, he went for it. SeT saw the opening, but ficus shut it down. Nicely done. But this is all just really falling into SeT's hands right now because Mana Frenzy is coming. The dragon's defending very deep, so SeT's had a lot of the bridges. Not entirely sure what that black hole was. Maybe trying to just get a lucky pincer block. Pincer will hit whatever is in the middle, whatever's closest to the middle. So you do need to be a little bit careful when everything's close together there. But SeT has a lot of HP, so he can just tank this dragon on face, shut down the support very quickly with the Fergus, and get even closer to his Mana Frenzy. And Frey's going to get a big hit off here, but everything's way too tanky at the top for her to stay alive and actually shut that lane down. Right, SeT is about to hit Mana Frenzy. Goes for the Daka. I don't know if he wanted phase. Probably wanted to get the sniper in the pocket. There's this weird there. Sometimes the Daka hits things in the pocket. Sometimes it hits face. I don't know if it depends on the arena. I don't know if it depends on the size of the unit. Sometimes you can get things in the pocket. Sometimes you can't. But there's no way ficus can hold on here. He's been struggling to hold on without Mana Frenzy for his opponent. SeT's going to shut this down. We're going for a decider here. SeT makes it 2 games all. Here we go with the decider. Diona against Morelia. Okay, we got a future out. Screaming Scrat, not something we see too often. Always good to see it though. SeT playing Diona Dynasty. The skin only available to tournament winners. Rarest skin in the game. Because reverting to some Empyrean pushes. Okay, let's see how the assassin does here. It is raged, of course, from the brother, so it will shut that down. We'll get targeted here. That's one of the kind of the weird interactions. Like, it's a stealth unit, but they can still see it and hit it. I feel like that's one of the things that are inconsistent when it comes to Minion Masters is how spells and abilities can interact with invisible things. Just like to see that tightened up a little bit. Just makes it easier for everyone to understand what's going on rather than having to learn the rules and the exceptions to them. Right, ficus gets an XP lead here. Tranquil Monkey, can we get a nice thick hill from our favourite monkey boy? Let's find out. Probably not going to survive at the bottom here, but it is going to last longer than it looked like it was. I think it is going to heal. That Flame Imp DPS is huge, but unfortunately it just goes down. That Tranquil Monkey almost got a huge heal off. I remember a heal when it's out of combat. Okay, so Blood Imps, SeT needs to pay attention to ficus's availability and use of the Smite, because Smite onto a ton of Blood Imps is going to be painful. Remember, Blood Imps only do... The Blood Pact only does 75% damage now to the Master as opposed to the previous 85%, but still, Smite onto Blood Imps is going to be painful if it happens. Right, let's... That it's kind of a weird thing, but that, you know, when you play these future cards and you get some random cards, you've just got to try to get value from them when you can. And Rampant Growth's kind of awkward to use because you can't just hold on to it until there's a good opportunity, because the shrooms will disappear and then suddenly you've got a card in your hand that does literally nothing. So you kind of just have to use it if you don't have any other shroom generators to just get it. Just use it, move on. Get some value out of it. Of course it's going to be cheaper than normal, so it's not that difficult to get some value out of it. It's kind of an awkward card to get from a future. Oh, these Blood Imps are going to get smited, surely. No, he doesn't go for it. Okay. SeT has a lot of HP, so maybe Ficus thinking that that's not a good trade, but we'll see. Feels like, I don't know, it feels like that's always going to be a good trade. Huge face damage. If this ends with SeT just hanging on with a little bit of HP, then that's definitely going to be a mistake that will cost Ficus in that situation. But we don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll find out. Remember, this is 2-2, best of 5, so the winner will go through to the grand final where they'll play against, I think it's Dark Crow or Aristocrat. Okay. Ficus will have the dragon at perk 3. But we'll see what it can do. Shock Rock's nice there because it does shut down the assassin. He's got to smite this, surely. Okay, he's going to smite it, but he misses 2 of them. He missed 2 of them and the Flame Imp. I feel like that's just another misplay there from Ficus. Little misplay, but that Flame Imp can just get insane value. Okay. Nice heal removal. Remember, sometimes healing with the spellbook there, it's not about the heal. Look at this mana being burnt from Ficus here. You know, burning mana is not necessarily the end of the world, but you want to avoid it if you can. And like, he's just flashing more mana here. That's got to be 3 or 4 mana's worth. Like, what is he waiting for? This is just flat. This is just getting out of control. Like, he's kind of waiting to get more value out of the breath, but at what cost? Curse Bearer is going to get shut down pretty quickly here, but the curse will... Okay, nice taunt trap, spins it around, keeps the Curse Bearer alive for longer, and remember, the curse will just linger on the ground for a little bit longer after death, so that's going to be some real good DPS. Right, XP still level. This is close. But I feel like there's been a couple of mistakes from Ficus that have cost him. Plus a lot of mana unnecessarily being burnt, but let's see. Let's have a look. We spoke earlier about maybe the Blood Imps not getting punished could be a thing. SeT's going to be taking quite a lot of face damage here. Ruffles grabbing some mana in there. Always got to pay attention when that's happening. Make sure you're not topped off with mana or else you'll just burn that. Using the Shock Rock to try to keep some units alive from the flyby. Did keep one thing alive, so we don't hate that. Blade Star from the future doesn't really do too much. Gets blocked by the trap. Monkey's going to heal at the top. And remember, had those Blood Imps been hit by the smite, SeT would be very low HP right now. Remember, we saw an opportunity for 5 Blood Imps to be smited. There was also another smite on Blood Imps that only hit 3 of the 5. So SeT could be almost dead if those interactions had gone differently. Right, Mana Frenzy almost ready for SeT. Let's see what value Ficus can get, though, out of this Void Altar. See, SeT's going to take more face damage here. Ruffles going for a heal at the bottom. That could be a clutch heal. Here it comes. Right. SeT has Mana Frenzy, so does Ficus. Bridges are looking red at the moment for Ficus. That assassin's going to get a massive hit off, though. Just goes invisible in time. Remember, Ficus from Morelia, perk 3 Dragon, it's come and gone. Effectively doesn't have a perk 3 anymore. SeT, of course, does. And the longer games you think are going to really favour SeT. We went for the Ardent Archers at the top there. Got shut down. Blood Imps are out. There's only 2 of them though. I think there was only 2 left. But remember, if he'd used the Smite earlier, I know it's not quite that simple, but I feel like had he played Smite on Blood Imps differently earlier in the game, this game would just be over by now. Ruffles again pushing at the bottom, going for another heal, and these heals can be huge. Right, Smite at the bottom, shuts down the heal and the assassin. SeT cannot use the Blood Imps. He's way too low HP for that. But he is pushing with the bridges at the moment. And it feels like the longer this game goes on, the better it gets for SeT. Again, the Rampant Growth doesn't do anything. And the Taunt Traps are going to help so much, just keeping things away from the range units, keeping things off of the bridge, and XP really is just so important right here. SeT burning mana like crazy as well. Completely unnecessary. But that Cannon Roller could be a pain. Ardent Archers coming out at the top there. Nice heal on the brother. This is going to be a big push at the top from ficus. SeT very low HP. Burning mana again. From the looks of it. Does have some good DPS here with the assassin, but so low HP. Is ficus going to take this? It looked like he'd maybe lost his window with some less than ideal plays from my point of view. But he's got the bridges now. SeT is not going to hold on to this, I shouldn't think. There's a lot of shrooms, but that's not going to help defend. Having to body with the Flame Imp. In comes the flyby. SeT at 82 HP. Almost dead. Is ficus going to be into the grand final here? It's really looking like it. This was back and forth for sure. But it looks like ficus is going to close this out. He's going to take this game 5, 3-2 overall victory. And ficus is going to be into the grand final. Super. Right. Great stuff. Okay, let's update our score. So ficus beating SeT there. As mentioned, they did play previously in the event, and ficus beat SeT 2-1 there. So interesting to see ficus winning again. And as I mentioned, I wonder if the experiences from that game did allow him to ban things like the Rammer. We saw the Rammer, kind of a weird ban if you're talking about meta bans, especially in tournaments. But so nicely done. I know I mentioned it a lot, but I feel like ficus didn't play the Smite and the Blood Imp interaction ideally, but ultimately in the end it did work out for him. So, you know, what do I know? Right, so this was the first of our semi-finals, SeT against ficus. We do, of course, have a second semi-final, as you would expect, which is going to be Dark Crow against Aristocrat. So we know one finalist, ficus. The question is, who is going to be in the next one? That, of course, will be in the next video here on the Fish Tank. So if you want to make sure you don't miss out on that, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified when that goes live. And, of course, as always, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of the game? Did it go as you were expected? And of course, we're just looking forward to Minion Masters 2.0. Lots of cool stuff to come, especially when it comes to tournaments. I'm excited to get involved in that, see how we can evolve the event. As mentioned earlier, potentially we can have cross-platform tournaments. That should be a lot of fun. I know that the Xbox part of the community feels a little bit left out with regards to tournaments, because most of the tournaments are PCs, because I think most of the players are PC based. But being able to have tournaments that are available to everyone on all different platforms could be really, really interesting. Of course, there is always the argument about, is it a fair level playing field between PC players and Xbox players, for example, and of course mobile players eventually. But that's something that maybe we can discuss and experience as we go through, maybe do some test events, see how it works out. And of course, as always, check in the description for this video to find links to the upcoming tournaments, whether that's the Knights Duel, single day events, or my play overtime Fishbowl Brawls like we've seen today. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. I'm Bad as Fish, and I look forward to seeing you again soon here in the Fish Tank.